It's low tide, and just offshore is a hidden underwater world. A wavy green meadow of eelgrass. Onshore, about a dozen kids and their grown-ups crowd around a fishing net spread out on the sand.
Listen up, everyone. There's 3 rules here. 1, we want to get the live stuff either into the buckets or back in the water.
EPA marine biologist Phil Colarusso dragged this net through the eelgrass meadow and laid it on the beach so people could see what lives there. He ticks off some ground rules, like get fish back in the water ASAP.
And most importantly, 3, have fun.
Massachusetts has about 19,000 acres of eelgrass off its coast.
A fish, right here. A little flounder.
Fish like flounder and scallops use these meadows as protective nurseries for their babies. Their survival is important for the New England fishing industry and the ecosystem.
That thing just scared me.
7-year-old Valentina Cruz says baby fish only scare her when they jump. She gently scoops this one into a bucket. What'd you find today? Anything interesting?
I find shrimp and just some fish. I love fish. They're nice.
Fish are nice, and without eelgrass, there would be a lot fewer of them. In the 1930s, a disease killed almost all the eelgrass along the East Coast, and the bay scallop fishery collapsed. The meadows took decades to recover. Now eelgrass faces more threats: pollution that makes the water murky and climate change, warming the ocean. Massachusetts has lost about half its eelgrass in the last 20 years.
And in this area, too, we see that the bed is becoming sort of fragmented and smaller.
Randall Hughes is a professor at Northeastern University. She says the meadows help prevent coastal erosion, and they store climate-changing carbon.
There's a lot of work to sort of restore areas where it used to be and just conserve what we have left.
But restoring eelgrass is tricky. Usually, divers transplant individual shoots by hand. It's painstaking work and not very effective. The most successful project so far, in Virginia, used eelgrass seeds. Scientists want to try that here, but scaling it up will be tough. Hughes says they don't have enough seeds yet.
One of the research projects right now is to try and understand, can our natural beds handle us collecting that many seeds? Because we, of course, don't want to damage natural beds in order to restore new beds.
And scientists want to make sure the seeds they use for restoration stick. Inside the Marine Biological Laboratory in Woods Hole, ecologist Mirta Teichberg shows off a row of fish tanks holding shoots of eelgrass.
Here's our tank system.
Then she holds up a glass jar, half full of brown water.
So in this jar, there's probably about 100 to 200 seeds that we collected from the bottom of the tank.
It's so funny because just looking at it, it looks like gunky water.
That's like the precious diamonds that we're finding.
Teichberg and her team will study these seeds to see which sprout most reliably and which grow best in warmer water.
If we can get them to grow really well under certain conditions, then maybe we can learn something about what they need to grow well, and then we can kind of plan for restoration. So it's really like, I try to think like a seagrass.
Thinking like a seagrass may be just what the meadows need. Because of human-caused pollution and climate change, the eelgrass meadows are unlikely to recover on their own. But with human help, they have a fighting chance. For Here and Now, I'm Barbara Moran.
And Barbara's story was produced as part of the Pulitzer Center's Story Reach U.S. Fellowship. And while we have you for a quick sec, we want your help for a story we're chasing. The rising price of groceries, eggs, pasta, beef, coffee, the list goes on. You know. Tell us how you are dealing with it. Tell us about your grocery list and the tough choices you are making these days. Go to hereandnow.org/groceries. Here and Now is a production of NPR and WBUR. I'm Scott Tong in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Vipar Fernandez in Alameda, California. There's more news ahead. Do keep listening to your local public radio station and support them. This is Here and Now.
Funding for Here and Now comes from the Museum of Science in Boston, dedicated to inspiring a lifelong love of science in everyone, in museums, classrooms, and online, offering engineering design challenges, digital experiences, live presentations, and more. MOS.org.
Hi, I'm Wendy Warren, business manager at WVTF and Radio IQ. You kept the office staff busy during the Spring Fund Drive, and we couldn't be more grateful. Processing donations is our favorite thing to do. Thank you to the more than 1,500 listeners who gave. We promise to honor your contribution by working diligently every day so you can rely on us to bring you unbiased news and great music. Thanks for listening to and financially supporting public radio.
It's been this wave of campaigns against higher education, and in the end, you've got this real mess for higher education at this point that has left a lot of the country's most elite universities, but also schools that are less prominent, on defense.
I'm Rachel Abrams. That's Today on the Daily from the New York Times.
Every weekday at 6:30 on Radio IQ.
You're listening to Radio IQ on WVTF Roanoke, WRIQ Charles City Richmond, WVTU Charlottesville, WVTW Charlottesville.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this special meeting of the Roanoke City Council for 2 o'clock, March 24th, 2025. I'll ask our clerk, Ms. McCoy, to please call the roll.
Ms. Powers?
Here.
Mr. Hagan?
Here.
Ms. Sanchez-Jones?
Here.
Vice Mayor McGuire?
Here.
Mr. Nash?
Here.
Mr. Volleson?
Here.
Mayor Cobb?
Here, and we are all present. Thank you. The purpose for this afternoon's meeting is to receive the presentation of the recommended fiscal year 25-26 budget. Council has been informed that during the presentation, if we have any questions for clarification, we'll just make note of those and then ask those at the end of the presentation so that we can hear the presentation in its full. This isn't a discussion today, it's a presentation. We have several additional public meetings that will be taking place, and we will announce those at the close of the presentation because we want to make sure that you know how to best engage in this process. So I want to extend my gratitude to our city manager, Ms. Turner, and her budget planning team for your countless hours, and I would also add weekends that you have given to prepare for this presentation. I know that you have done so carefully and thoughtfully, and we want to express our gratitude to you all for all of your extra time and effort. Before we move into that presentation, we do have a walk-on item for action, a request of the city attorney to convene in a closed meeting to consult with legal counsel regarding a certain legal matter requiring the provision of legal advice by the city attorney pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A7 Code of Virginia as amended. I need a motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez-Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Mayor Cobb?
Aye. And following the presentation, we will recess to the closed meeting. Right at this time, it is my honor to welcome our city manager, Ms. Turner, and your team to present the proposed budget.
Good afternoon, Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, City Council members. I am pleased to present to you and the residents of the City of Roanoke my proposed budget for FY or fiscal year 2026. As required by the Code of Virginia, this document sets forth a plan for funding city government services, the Roanoke City Public Schools, and debt for city and school capital projects for the upcoming fiscal year. This year's proposed budget reflects the challenges we face and the difficult, critical decisions we must make. Challenges and choices. As I stated before, this is a very tight budget year. This budget not only prioritizes essential, immediate needs, but also ensures we can continue making critical improvements across our city and infrastructure upgrades to address long-term maintenance. Equally as important, we must address the growing demands of our workforce, particularly when it comes to overtime and city employee compensation. Ensuring fair pay for our dedicated employees, as well as providing the necessary resources for overtime, particularly in public safety, is crucial to maintaining high levels of service and safety. As we walk through the details of this proposed budget today, while challenging, this budget reflects our commitment to meeting those challenges head-on, all while keeping the needs of our residents at the forefront. Today, we'll take a closer look at the journey our city has embarked on since July 1st, 2024, highlighting the City Council's 7 priorities: education, public safety, human services, infrastructure, good government, livability, and economy, and how we are addressing the needs of our residents and making strides toward a more sustainable and vibrant future. We will outline the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget and the city's funding priorities. Finally, we'll review the amended capital improvement plan, where we've made strategic adjustments to ensure long-term infrastructure needs are met in the most effective way possible. I'm excited to walk you through these important updates, and I look forward to sharing how these initiatives will shape our future of our city. While developing the FY26 budget and reviewing the City's Council's 7 priorities, it's important to remember some of the notable strides we've made in FY 2025, as well as reflect on the resilience and dedication of our city employees. City Council priority number 1, education. The Roanoke City Public Schools provide an inclusive and equitable student-centered culture that empowers lifelong learning. The City of Roanoke partners with RCPS by providing additional learning opportunities through programs and services, and we are proud to highlight several key accomplishments that have made meaningful impacts in our community. The libraries serve over 290,000 individual visits, reflecting the strong role they play in supporting lifelong learning. The library team also manages the Feed and Read program. This initiative has served over 8,400 meals and distributed access to both nourishment and educational resources. Through the Star City Reads program, we successfully distributed over 13,000 books to encourage reading and literacy throughout the community. Through our community programs, we hosted over 4,000 programs with an impressive 81,000 people in attendance, underscoring the widespread demand for educational and community building events. Additionally, our library collection saw significant use, circulating over 99,000 books, movies, and audiobooks, over 73,000 youth materials, and over 97,000 ebooks, reflecting the diverse needs and interests of our patrons. In support of youth development, our teen apprenticeship program provided valuable hands-on experience to 30 youths, empowering them with life learning skills that will serve them for years to come. These efforts not only highlight the success of our education initiatives, but also demonstrate our commitment to fostering a community that values learning, growth, and opportunity for all. City Council priority number 2, public safety. The Roanoke City Police Department has made significant strides in enhancing public safety and community engagement. This effort has contributed to a 91% clearance rate for all homicides and a 59.26% reduction in homicides year over year. Key accomplishments include the restoration of the downtown unit, 50 reset deployments, and 377 community events. Fire-EMS. This year, we've made significant strides in enhancing our fire and EMS services. We proudly opened the new Fire and EMS Training Center, providing a state-of-the-art facility for training and development. Additionally, we hired and trained 35 new firefighters, ensuring our team is equipped to meet the growing needs and demands of our community. E911. E911 is currently working towards our 6th reaccreditation by the Commission of Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. It further demonstrates our commitment to maintaining the highest standard of law enforcement. In 2024, our dispatch center handled more than 115,000 calls and over 560 text message sessions through our text to 911 service. Roanoke Sheriff's Department. Our Roanoke Sheriff's Department is highly accredited and holds several distinguished accreditations: American Correctional Association, the National Commission of Correctional Healthcare, the Virginia Department of Virginia Department of Corrections, and the Virginia Law Enforcement Professionals Standard Commission. City Council priority number 3, Human Services. This year, the City of Roanoke's Department of Social Services made significant strides in supporting individuals facing homelessness and providing critical services. A total of 228 individuals were successfully housed. We also provided approximately $100,000 in move-in assistance, covering security and utility deposits to help families transition to permanent housing. Additionally, we launched a new furniture assistance program, assisting residents moving into permanent supportive housing with essential furniture to maintain safe and secure living. The City of Roanoke is also ranked at the top of the state with 37 finalized adoptions, underscoring our commitment to supporting children and families in need. City Council priority number 4, infrastructure. This year, through our Public Works Department, the city allocated $5.7 million to address local flooding concerns through the installation of curbs, gutters, and storm drains, helping to mitigate flooding and improve infrastructure resilience. Public Works also oversaw $100 million in capital projects, including significant developments like the Eureka Recreation Center, Wasena Bridge replacement, and the Adult Detention Center. In terms of maintenance, we successfully removed over 600 tons of sediment and debris through our street sweeping operations, ensuring cleaner streets and better drainage. City Council priority number 5, good government. This year we hosted the Mayor's Business Summit with over 100 businesses in attendance, fostering collaboration and growth within our local economy. We also celebrated the opening of the Melrose Plaza grocery store, a key milestone in revitalization of the Melrose community. The city's Office of Communications and Community Engagement has also been recognized with several prestigious awards: the Savvy Award, the VML Pacesetter Award, the VML Award for the Lock-In Safety and Unlock Hope initiative, again, underscoring our commitment to promoting safety and support in our community. City Council priority number 6, livability. This year we saw an incredible 44,000 attendees at GoFest, with an estimated economic impact of over $3 million, highlighting this event's success in bringing businesses, visitors, and the community together. We also launched Engage Ready Roanoke, a nonprofit capacity building program designed to support and empower community-based organizations. Our commitment to arts and culture is reflected in the allocation of $20,000 for public art projects throughout the city, enhancing our public spaces and encouraging creativity. Additionally, we're excited to announce that the Washington Park Pool is scheduled to open this summer, providing residents with a much-anticipated recreational facility. And finally, but certainly not least, City Council priority number 7, economy. This year, we celebrated a significant milestone with the arrival of Amazon, which marks a major boost to our local economy and job market. Amazon's presence has not only created jobs, but also contributed to the continuing growth and vibrancy of our community. In addition, Financial Empowerment Center assisted 165 residents, helping them reduce more than $200,000 of non-mortgage debt. Furthermore, the Economic Development Authority has invested over $735,000 into initiatives that are driving long-term growth and prosperity for our city. We also saw a 3.5% increase in the average annual wage per worker, reflecting the positive economic impact of recent developments. These efforts, combined with Amazon's contribution, continue to position Roanoke as a thriving hub for business and opportunity. Challenges and choices. As I've stated, this was a very tight budget year and challenging budget year, and very tough choices will need to be made. We will explore our primary goal of stabilizing the budget, enhancing compensation, and making targeted investment in critical infrastructure and systems. Additionally, we'll examine how resources are carefully allocated to support our long-term objectives for economic growth and community well-being. Challenges and choices. We are operating in an environment where local, state, and federal uncertainties continue to shape the decisions we need to make. These external factors, such as fluctuating funding levels, shifting policies, and potential changes in regulation, present ongoing challenges that require us to be adaptable and strategic in our planning. As we work to create a balanced budget, we must consider how these uncertainties could impact our financial position and adjust our decisions accordingly. A key component in the development process of this budget was focusing on stabilizing our financial foundation by actually aligning the budget with actual expenditures in order to ensure our spending matches the resources that are available. This alignment is a critical step in maintaining long-term physical health. However, stabilizing the budget is not a one-time task, as we must establish a multi-year, multi-pronged approach. Over the next 5 years, we will continue to monitor and adjust the budget to build a more sustainable financial framework for the city, ensuring that we are prepared for future challenges. Another key priority in this proposed budget is the investment in our employees. We recognize the importance of keeping living wages in line with the inflation and rising costs. A cost of living adjustment ensures that our employees' salaries remain competitive and allow them to maintain their purchasing power. So on personnel and public safety will be advanced to their next respective step. This adjustment will keep pace with the market, these functional areas that are critical to our community. Additionally, we committed to providing a living wage for all employees. This will ensure that all employees, all workers, regardless of their role, are earning enough to meet basic living expenses, promoting financial stability and workforce satisfaction. Together, these efforts in compensation will help maintain a motivated and effective workforce, which is essential for the continued success and safety of our community. A significant focus on the proposed budget is also continuing targeted investment in critical areas that impact the well-being and functionality of our city. We have prioritized infrastructure, facilities to include parks and recreation facilities, public safety facilities, library facilities. Economic development is also a priority. Supporting economic growth is essential for the city's long-term prosperity. We will direct funding to initiatives that promote business development, attract new investments, and create more jobs. We have also prioritized our capital improvement program, particularly fleet replacement. Replacing and maintaining the city's fleet is essential for ensuring that our departments can perform their functions efficiently and effectively. These investments helps to provide high-quality services and ensure that our infrastructure can support a thriving, vibrant community. This budget also addresses backlog in capital replacement. In addition to new investments, we must address the growing backlog of necessary capital replacements for our key systems and facilities that have aged and are in need of immediate attention. In our March 3rd budget update, our financial advisors, Davenport and Associates, outlined a dedicated capital improvement program for capital maintenance to address the backlog, increasing the current meals tax from 5.5% to 6.5%. This will include the HVAC mechanical systems. Many city buildings rely on HVAC and mechanical systems that are outdated and increasingly prone to failure. Addressing these systems is critical to maintaining comfortable and safe environments for employees and residents. Electrical systems. The electrical infrastructure in some of our city facilities is aging and in need of replacement or upgrades. Ensuring that these buildings are equipped with modern, efficient electrical systems will reduce the risk of outages and improve safety. Elevators. I know you've heard me talk about elevators quite a bit. Some city buildings have elevators that are outdated and no longer meet modern standards. Timely replacement or upgrades will ensure that these critical systems remain functional and safe. Roofs. The roofs of many city buildings are at the end of their lifespan and require immediate attention. Repairing and replacing these roofs will help prevent leaks, damage, and costly repairs. Addressing these backlog capital replacement will not only prevent further deterioration, but will also save the city money in the long run by avoiding emergency repairs and increasing the longevity of our facilities. The budget development process is a delicate balance of allocating resources among competing priorities. Every decision involves trade-offs, and we must ensure that essential services and initiatives are funded while also maintaining fiscal responsibility. The proposed budget does not recommend changes to the real estate and personal property taxes. The proposed budget does recommend an increase in meals tax. The proposed budget also seeks to decrease the expenditures and the reliance on vacancy savings and debt. The proposed general fund budget for the upcoming fiscal year is balanced, totaling $403,689,000, which represents an increase of $24,583 compared to the previous year. As part of this budget, there's also a 10% increase in the Emergency Management Services Transportation Fee, reflecting the ongoing adjustments needed to support essential city services. These changes ensure the city's financial stability while continuing to meet the growing needs of the community. Our FY 2025 revenue base budget, $379.1 million. That number plus the projected incremental revenue of 24.6 equals the FY 2026 proposed base budget of $403.7 million. And we're going to get into the expenditures. So the total incremental revenue by major category for the year, again, amounts to $24.6 million. Of this, $15.4 million comes from the general property taxes, while $1.87 million is generated from other local taxes. We saw a decrease in permits, fees, licenses, and that's estimated to be about $500,000. Fines and forfeitures were estimated incremental of $8,900. Revenue from money and property total about $1.5 million. And the intergovernmental revenue, which are state and federal, amounts to about $5.6 million. Charges for services contribute to about $621,000. Additionally, there's a 10% increase in the Fire-EMS medic transport fee. These categories represent a diverse range of revenue sources that support the funding of essential city services and initiatives. Expenditures. Some of the key budgetary allocations include a $5.1 million change in base pay, with an additional $4.6 million allocated for a 3% cost of living increase adjustment for general employees, and a full step increase for public safety, and a multi-year approach to a living wage for employees. The social services reimbursable programs will receive $8.16 million, and $4.23 million will be dedicated to technology and other contractual services. Additionally, $2.03 million will be allocated for overtime wages. About $2.46 million will fund the sheriff's increase in their medical contract. The budget also includes about $200,000 for temporary wages and another $464,000 for external agencies, and about $900,000 for other miscellaneous expenses. The base budget is also being reduced by $3.54 million as part of the ongoing effort to align resources with the city's financial priorities. The proposed FY26 budget does recommend an FY2025 level funding of $106.9 million for Roanoke City Public Schools. This recommendation of level funding recognizes the financial position of Roanoke City Public Schools. With the financial assistance the city has provided to Roanoke City Public Schools, they have successfully been able to improve its performance compared to the prior establishment of the formal policy. Roanoke City Public Schools fund balance has significantly increased. General fund unassigned fund balance is $22.8 million and is projected to increase to $26.1 million at the end of FY 2025. An additional $5 million is in the assigned general fund balance for transition costs associated with end of pandemic relief funds. Roanoke City Public Schools also has a capital fund assigned balance of an additional $26.2 million. General fund unassigned fund balance provides flexibility for the schools to cover operational costs as a bridge. Challenges and choices. There are also several unfunded priorities that are not included in the current budget, such as critical needs for our social services, technology and other contractual increases, overtime and temp wages that total $4.6 million. And that is on top of the $3.5 million that we reduced from our base budget. We understand challenges and choices. Mayor and council members, city council members, allow me to provide you an additional option to increasing revenue for the FY 2026 budget process. Again, challenges and choices. We are proposing a capital maintenance improvement program to be funded by an additional 1% meals tax. This slide, however, shows an additional 0.5% to the meals tax, totaling an additional 1.5% to the meals tax, taking it from 5.5% to 7%. The proposed meals tax revenue will be utilized to further fund the priorities mentioned on the prior slide. For example, the half percent or $2.02 million will provide an additional $1 million in overtime funding for a total of $3 million. This increase will be approximately half of what was spent in overtime in FY 2024, which was $6.3 million. Additionally, we'll be able to fund temporary wages by an additional $855,000. These funds will be used primarily to address the temporary wage needed to operate the Washington Park Pool and Eureka Center, as well as the general services outsourcing costs within the Facilities Division and Custodial Services. Lastly, the remaining $167,000 of the proposed $2.02 million will be used to further fund our technology and other contractual services and increases, such as the increase in cost to maintain our fleet vehicles and internal technology upgrades, such as those required by our libraries, accessible to our community. Excuse me. The city's capital improvement program is a multi-year plan that identifies and prioritizes our capital projects. The CIP aims to help us continuously improve and maintain our infrastructure, such as our buildings and public facilities, bridges and streets, and technology systems, to ensure they are efficiently functioning and for longevity. The CIP outlines the project costs, anticipated spending timelines, and how the city plans to pay for each project. Most of our capital projects are funded by long-term debt, such as bond issuances, and the use of available cash. Therefore, we must constantly engage in long-term planning strategies related to the city's monetary resources while preserving sound financial management practices. It is also important to note that the city plans for these capital investments using a 5-year plan. However, only the current year, which is FY 2026, is included as part of the approved budget. The city CIP is grouped by project categories, with each planned capital project assigned to a category. Our project categories include schools, buildings, bridges, streets and sidewalks, parks and recreation, fleet capital and equipment replacement, and capital maintenance and replacement, and technical improvements. Our total cost for all recommended projects in the general fund for the FY 2026 amount to $55 million. Similar, for the FY 2027 and 2030, the total cost for all recommended projects amount to $166.5 million. Each fiscal year, the city designates $5 million to the schools for their capital improvement. The Roanoke City for Industry and Technology, we refer to that as the RCIT Track 8. It's in the building category, and in the FY 2026 at a project cost of $10 million. The city will use $2.5 million in bond funding and use $7.5 million received from the state for this project. In addition, we have planned in FY 2026 $1.5 million for the Technology Center project and $1.9 million for the passenger rail station. The Technology Center project consists of upgrades to the Halon Center system, HVAC, server racks, floors, and ceilings. For fiscal year beyond 2026, substantial planned project expenditures include $7.3 million for the Belmont Library branch expansion and $9.5 million for renovations to Fire Station Number 2 on Williamson Road. With Bridges category, we capture the progression of the Wasina Bridge replacement project in FY 2025 throughout our use of $9.7 million in bond funds. The 13th Street over Norfolk, I have to remember how to pronounce that, Southern Line Bridge project is also included in the bridge category for FY 2026. $6.9 million in grant funds will be used to pay for this project. In FY 2029, we have scheduled for 4 bridge projects totaling $16.2 million, of which $5.5 million is planned to be financed with bonds and $10.7 million with grant funds. These 4 bridge projects are the Downtown Pedestrian Bridge renovation, debt funded, the MLK Bridge renovation, debt funded, the 13th Street over Tinker replacement, grant funded, and the Persinger and Murray Run replacement, which will also be grant funded. The established street pavement and ADA ramp program falls within the streets and sidewalks category. Every year, the city plans to spend around $5.3 million for this program, with $1 million coming from bond funding and the remaining $4.3 million coming from available cash in the city's transportation division operating budget. $750,000 has been allocated in FY 2026 for the Washington Pool amenities in the Parks and Recreation category. In FY 2027 through FY 2030, funds are set aside to facilitate the completion of park maintenance projects, the historic Fishburne Mansion restoration, the Mill Mountain Star rehabilitation, and either renovations to the Richardson Wayland property or Phelan Park Pool. All of these projects are paid for using bond funding. The Morningside Park build-out project in FY 2028 will use $1.5 million of available grant funds. The city anticipates issuing debt of $2.9 million in FY 2026, coupled with $1.5 million from the Fleets Division operating budget to focus on fleet capital and equipment replacement needs. During FY 2027 to 2030, approximately $22 million will be used to continue to address these needs. As a new category in the FY 2026 CIP, the capital maintenance and replacement category represents projects to address HVAC, mechanical and electrical, roof replacements, elevator replacements, and underground storage tanks replacement projects. These projects are anticipated to be cash funded using the proposed meals tax increase of 1%. Technology improvement projects of $5.1 million are included in the FY 2026, FY 2027, and FY 2028, and are to be financed by debt. This category includes projects related to the global HR migration, global payroll and talent management, the planning permit system, virtualized prime site, and public safety mobile radios. In order to add new projects to the FY 2026, the city reallocated debt-funded projects that were previously planned for HVAC, structural roof replacement, fleet replacement, climate action, and the internet ring expansion projects. The proposed additional projects for FY 2026 include the Roanoke Center for Industry and Technology, that's the RCIT Track 8, the additional unit at the E911 Center, the Fire Drill Tower, the Technology Center, and maintenance for the Adult Detention Center. The proposed global HR system projects are also included in the FY 2026 as part of the information technology category. The FY 2026 proposed budget includes 20 projects, totaling $55 million in expenditures to be covered through the use of $30.3 million in debt, $8.3 million in cash, or what we call pay-go, $14.9 million in grants, and $1.5 million in project contingency. The FY 2027 to 2030 proposed CIP budget includes projects totaling $166.5 million in expenditures to be financed by issuing $109.2 million in debt, $45.1 million in cash, again, or pay-go, and $12.2 million in grant funds. The stormwater, Berglund Center, and parking funds are separate from the city's general fund. Each of these funds plan for capital improvements each year and use debt or cash to pay for the project expenses. The stormwater fund CIP around 3.5 to 3.75 million of project expenses each year through 2030, using mostly debt to finance the project costs and available cash. The Berglund Center Fund CIP plans for $1.5 million of project expenses each year through FY 2030, using all debt to finance the project costs. And lastly, the Parking Fund CIP is currently planning for $450,000 each through FY 2028, using all cash funding to pay for the project costs. This is the first, we'll be presenting the proposed budget, but we are going to be in the community on April 10th and April 17th. That will be followed by a public hearing on April 21st. We'll have a budget study, or what we call a budget work session, on May 5th. And final adoption of the budget will be on May 12th. Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, and City Council members, as we conclude today's presentation, I want to reiterate the significant challenges we face as a city. The uncertainties we face at the local, state, and federal levels continue to pose hurdles, with fluctuating federal support and shifting state policies impacting our ability to plan with certainty. Despite these obstacles, this proposed budget reflects a thoughtful and strategic approach to managing the city's financial resources, ensuring that we meet our immediate needs while remaining mindful of long-term goals. A primary objective of this budget is stabilizing our financial outlook. We've worked diligently to align the budget with actual expenditures, ensuring we don't overspend or underfund critical services. This alignment is not a one-time task. Multi-year, multi-pronged approach. It is part of a broader, multi-year strategy aimed at building a sustainable and resilient financial foundation for our city. This budget also prioritizes compensation, recognizing that our employees are the backbone of the city services. We are committed to addressing the rising costs of living and ensuring that all city employees receive a living wage. This critical investment in our workforce that will allow us to retain talent and maintain high levels of service across all departments. Additionally, despite the constraints of a tighter budget, we continue to focus on targeted investments in our infrastructure, public safety facilities, parks and recreation amenities, libraries, and fleet replacement. These investments are essential to maintaining and improving the services of our community and the services that our community relies on every day. We're also addressing the growing backlog in capital replacement for systems like HVAC, mechanical, electrical, and elevators, roofs, all to ensure the longevity of our city's building and reduce the potential for costly repairs in the future. We are acutely aware of the competing priorities and difficult decisions that come with balancing the budget. But even in the face of uncertainty, we are committed to making responsible choices that will set the stage for long-term economic growth and community well-being. And if you allow me, I'd like to take a point of personal privilege. I'd like to thank this incredible budget committee. And I would like to take a moment to ask each of them to stand. Mrs. Lindsay, Mr. Stovall, Mrs. O'Brien, Mr. Roman, Mr. Kasecki, Ms. Catron, Ms. Vernon, Ms. Van Buren, Ms. Ferguson, Mr. Parker. And we have two other members that are not present today. We have Ms. Harris and Mr. Lawhorn. And also, we have watching today, Dr. Patton. And I just want to take just a personal privilege just to thank them for all of their work and everything they do. You all can be seated. I also wanted to take an opportunity to thank the department directors. It was tough. I mean, we went through the budget methodically, and we worked on cutting those things that we knew that, you know, we want, and some of it that we need, but we prioritize. So it was tough, and I'm hopeful that when you get your budget books and you're able to delve into every page of it, that you'll see the work that went into it, that you'll ask questions, allow us to be able to answer those questions. We do have a kind of a process that will be helpful for us to make sure that we're answering your questions in a timely manner. I'll be happy to go over that in a little bit. But in closing, I would like to say thank you for your support, thank you for your attention, and for being a part of this journey with us. Together, we can continue to make progress toward a stronger and more resilient future for our city. I look forward to working alongside you for the vision that you all have, so we can bring that vision to life, no matter the challenges we face along the way. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. I want to commend you and your team. Thank you for introducing them. I think it's important that we express our gratitude personally for all of the time you've put into this. My gratitude to everyone who's come today. I think this is probably the largest crowd I've seen in 8 years for a budget presentation, but it's critical to the life and health and vibrancy of our community. Thank you for your thoroughness. You've been here a little over 2 months.
Yes.
And the investment that you have made already is significant. And I think it's a testament to your character and your hard work for our city already. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask council if we have any questions of clarification from the presentation.
I would just like to say the same as our mayor. There are times up until this point when I sat out there with the rest of you, and I'm just so honored that we have the staff that we have, and you're so right about taking care of our staff, because that's the reason why you've been able to get to where you are, and I appreciate what you've done and the long hours that it has taken for you to get to this point. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Questions?
I just have a quick clarifying question. Do you have specifically how much money we receive from the federal government?
I do have that. Do I have that now, Ms. Ferguson? Oh, we'll get that to you. So we're going to use that as a question.
Okay.
And so we'll respond to all of you. Yes.
Could you review just real quickly the process piece that you mentioned?
Yes. So when you get your budget books today, in order to make sure that we answer your questions in a timely manner, we'd like for you to provide your questions to us every week by Wednesday. When you provide by close of business on Wednesday, if you provide it to us by the close of business on Wednesday, we will respond to you by close of business on Friday. We do have a website, so in your budget book, not a website, we do have a specific email address so you can send your questions to. And the clerk's office also have access to that email box. So as an example, when you get your budget books, every question that you send to us by Wednesday the 26th, we'll respond to you by Friday the 28th. And it'll go to the entire council, because we want to make sure that everyone has the same information. So whatever question that you ask, we'll give it to everyone. And if we see some redundancy, we may add the questions together. You'll still see the questions, but we'll respond to it that way. And the last day to ask questions for a clear response will be on, do you remember the date, Mr. Cassell? I think it's April 30th. Or is it the 25th? Is it 30th? It's April 30th. Because that will be right before the budget work session.
Thank you for that.
You're
And
welcome.
for the public, I want to remind everyone of some upcoming opportunities. Again, this budget will be posted on the website. And did you say there's a dedicated page for that?
Yes, so the draft proposed budget will be posted today, as well as your questions and answers.
Okay. April 10th, and the information about these meetings will go out through our community engagement, so
Yes.
they will be very well publicized, but I'm giving you a head start on when they're going to be. Thursday, April 10th, from 7 to 9 p.m., public meeting on the budget will be held at the Unitarian Universalist Church, which is near Patrick Henry. On Thursday, April 17th, the public meeting on the budget will be from 7 to 9 at Pilgrim Baptist Church off 8th Street. The public hearing on the budget will be on Monday, April 21st during our 7 o'clock p.m. meeting. The budget study and work session will be at 9 a.m. in the chambers here on Monday, May 5th. And then the final meeting to adopt the fiscal year 26 budget will be Monday, May 12th, here at our 2 o'clock meeting. So all of that information will go out. I will also say, if you've not signed up for Roanoke City alerts, you can do that on the website, and you can sign up for every alert that you want. And you can sign up to receive emails, you can sign up to receive text messages. So you have an opportunity to hear from the city of Roanoke multiple times a day, multiple times a week, if you would like to. But it's a really great way to stay informed about what's happening in the life of the city. All right. Thank you, Ms. Turner and team. We're grateful for you. We are going to recess into a closed meeting, and then at the close of that closed meeting, we will come back to certify the closed meeting and adjourn for the day.